to have you here tonight. I'm on Rumble and YouTube right now. So both platforms are, so let me just set this up. Hold on a second. It just takes a bit of time to get this ready here. Okay, so hopefully we're live on both. So again, for the format, so I don't have to keep repeating this, people will come back and make some statement again about the format here. The format is I talk for 30 minutes on the given topic. We're going to talk about what MSM is afraid of regarding the Twitter files. And after that, we go into a Q&A section for an hour. So only half an hour on the given topic. The rest is Q&A. It's up to you, whatever you want to ask. We'll talk about it if we have time. I'm going to, of course, prioritize the members. And one other thing that I'm going to say about the members. So on YouTube, I have members, and some of you are on Patreon. But there's going to be a better thing that I've just set up, and it's called Locals. I'm on robbraxman.locals.com. I haven't really set it up yet. It's already up and running, and you sign up in there and you can be a member on Locals. And Locals is it's actually part of Rumble. It's owned by Rumble, and it's much better because most of it goes directly to me instead of 30% to the tax of the platform, whatever platform you're on. So there's kind of a tax, and so very little of it actually gets to me. So anyway, we'll have a discussion on that, but that's something that I will have up and running soon. But I think it's already active. It's robbraxman.locals.com, and it's like a membership kind of platform. Some of you are already on Locals, and you may be familiar with that on Rumble. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for being here tonight. And I won't pay much attention to the comments, just an occasional glance here and there, so that I can focus on the topic. So the topic tonight is about the fact that, the news is that, Elon Musk bought Twitter. So maybe that's a surprise to some of you. And when he bought Twitter, he started to make changes. But one of the things that he did was he opened up the data of internal communications between Twitter staff, in the old Twitter, which I referred to as Twitter 1.0, and that's the pre-Elon Musk Twitter, and then the new Twitter with Elon Musk I referred to as Twitter 2.0. So on Twitter 1.0, the communications between the various staff members of Twitter are recorded on Slack, mostly on Slack, according to them. And what Elon did was he had two journalists. So two journalists not affiliated with MSM, but previously MSM, from what I understand. So previously MSM journalists. In fact, one of them was with the New York Times, Barry Wise, and then Matt Taibbi. And, they are probably like any other journalist on the left. I mean, it's not a surprise there, but they are, and yet they were given access to the files, and they came up with the release of information that we now refer to as the Twitter files. And I referred to it in my last video, although I didn't really get into it in too much detail here. But the issue is, given the seriousness of what the Twitter files exposed to us, what is really kind of surprising is the absence of mainstream media's comments on it. It's like, hey, didn't happen, no big deal. It's just, old hat. We don't need to discuss that. It's not important. Well, let's kind of go into, some of the details that it's really, really bothersome for somebody like me that hate authoritarianism. So I'm not really, a political junkie. I hate politics. I've already said that. And I'm not really, if one party or the other wins in anything, my reaction is like blah. It's like, to me it's bad news either way. So I don't really react to it so much, and it's just a cycle of bad news to me to even hear about elections. So don't come to me and make statements about my political side, that I'm here making these comments because of politics. I already gave you my history in the last video and in many live streams. I've told you that I come from a country that was a dictatorship, and I do not want to ever repeat that again. That was a very stressful experience in my childhood, and I don't want to repeat of that. I don't want to repeat of that. This is one of the benefits of being in America. You don't have to worry about speech, so to speak. And then now it's coming back to us again, where somebody is restricting speech, and that really, really reminds me of the old days in my life experience, and it really bugs me. And I don't know what you're afraid of to even allow speech. I mean, simple things that I got demonetized. I've never been deplatformed. I'm very careful, but I've been demonetized or my videos taken down for stupid stuff. Like, I was talking about, right. You know what we're talking about here. The jab thing. I don't even want to say it because, the algorithm gets in there and it'll start putting me on a do not amplify list, just like some of my other videos. So, I don't understand that. Well, anyway, at Twitter, what was found, at least we have evidence that is obvious here, because that's, it was opened up as discussions between the staff at Twitter, so this is not a secret. Jack Dorsey is not hiding the fact that this is real. So it's real. So the internal communications show that Vijaya Gade was actually running the company, not Jack Dorsey, but the head of legal trust and safety, meaning the censorship woman, was actually running the joint. And I don't know what it is with this, Indian women. Vijay Gade is Indian, and then there's another Indian woman running, the London subsidiary or partner of Google, doing their own censorship over there at Google. So, I don't know what the connection is, but it's interesting that two women of Indian descent are really, really powerful in this area here. They're basically, one was running Twitter practically. Anyway, this person, one person, decided to be the shadow banner, and they just decided on things like ban certain people and call them fake news or whatever, and call them extremists and so on, and mostly under the control of this Vijaya Gade. And then aside from the shadow banning, and shadow banning to me is the most insidious form of censorship, because you don't even know you're being censored. I'm sure it's happened to me on YouTube. On YouTube, it's pretty obvious. You watch your video is going, like my video entitled Bombshell. It's about the Google search bias problem. And when I released that video, it was going so fast because you guys, the subscribers, were watching it, and it reached a pretty good number, and then it flattened out. It was never shared outside of my subscriber base. And you know what that is? That's called do not amplify. It means the algorithm said, "Oh, this is not a topic we want to amplify, so we're gonna just let it die natural death." And it did, and it got to about 44,000 views, and it stopped. You can just see it. It was like a very, very steep climb, and it just stopped there. And some other videos that I had where I discussed some issues with COVID, and I wasn't even talking about, I shouldn't have said that, but issues with the pandemic. And it wasn't even a discussion about, the pandemic itself. I was more concerned about the privacy issues, where I go to a restaurant and somebody has to check my Zucking ID. That is just extremely bothersome to me when I have to go to a restaurant and somebody has to check my ID. What is the connection? Why do they have to know who I am? You just take my money and so on, and you take my credit card, and you don't need to know anything else about me. And that just bugged me, and I discussed it in a video. And of course, a bunch of you unfollowed me or unsubscribed, the usual. And then Google itself did a do not amplify, or YouTube. So that's one thing, is this idea of shadow banning at Twitter, which happens on YouTube and so on. But at least at Twitter they were caught. So, and here's the part that is really, really bothersome. The fact that the FBI actually had a regular meeting with the executives of Twitter. This was some weekly meeting where they would go and discuss what things are disinformation and what they should start banning, which included, in this case, the Hunter stuff. So they discussed that, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we have to stop this." And even though there's no evidence that there was a problem with the information being released, they said, "We're just going to stop this." And because it was right in the election, and it could have impacted the election, and they didn't want to impact the election negatively, so they cut that out. Okay, that's extremely bothersome right there. As you know, the FBI created a document announcing what they would refer to as domestic terrorists, and you'd be surprised at the people they put in there. So if you're anti-vax, you're a domestic terrorist. If you're anti-woke, you're a domestic terrorist. If you believe in taking control of education from your children in school boards, and if you have any issue with the school board, apparently you're a domestic terrorist as well. I mean, some of this is like, infighting within ourselves. It just boggles the mind that you don't allow anybody to speak on some basic topics. Just like I was talking about the privacy issue with the pandemic, the privacy issue. I wasn't talking about being pro or against anything. I was talking about the privacy side, because, it was starting to be like an authoritarian state. And that really bugged me. Now, then it came to the Trump side. Now, according to the documents that have been revealed, they actually didn't even have anything against Trump. They actually had no data that said, well, he didn't really violate anything. No, they couldn't really point out exactly what he violated. And so his last post, which was the last post that they based the decision on, was a statement saying he wasn't going to the inauguration. That was the last statement. And then he made a comment in there, it's kind of meaningless, and somebody said, that's a hidden code. That's hidden code. That's hidden code to incite. I mean, obviously very imagined. Because if you read that, I mean, common sense person would not read anything to it other than he's saying it's not going to the inauguration. And yet Twitter, and again, they themselves could not find a reason. This was in the internal discussion. They themselves, the Twitter executives, couldn't find a reason to justify taking him out. But they said, well, the employees wanted him out. Well, obviously, they're all from San Francisco. The employees wanted him out. So they made up a reason, and even though in the documents and in the conversations there was no reason, it's what a sucking move that was. What a sucking move that was. So this kind of control by certain players in big tech, and by the way, obviously Google does even worse stuff. And at least here we have an insider who can give us the data. But we you know, the only thing that we know about from the Google side is whatever I reveal to you that comes from their published stuff on that, you know, subsidiary organization of Alphabet that I've mentioned in my bombshell video. I don't even want to mention the name of the organizations, because if I say so, then they start de-amplifying my video. And this is really the problem. I can't even say anything. I mean, I go into YouTube and immediately I have to say, what can I say? What can I even not say? What can I say about my opinion? I can't even say anything. Of course, you know, a bunch of you are very politically biased, and, you know, as typical, whenever I talk about something that hurts your politics, you start unsubscribing. So go do that. I mean, that doesn't bother me at all. Go do that. If you think your politics is perfect, then privacy probably not going to matter to you. It's like that guy who said, I've got nothing to hide. I'm going to make my opinions known. I'm going to go, which is my next video. I'm going to let my opinions know, and I'm going to shout out the, he didn't say this, but the implication was, because he was using capital letters, that he would go to the highest mountain and shout his opinion and reveal his name and address and say, come at me. This is what I feel. This is what my opinion is. It's like, the talking stupid because it doesn't hurt them. So anyway, given the seriousness of what we're talking about here, where there's clearly manipulation of the data that you see, the truth, in other words, you can't even see truth. I can't even speak truth on here because this is a live stream that's going on YouTube as well. If I were just doing it on Rumble, I probably have more freedom. If I'm just doing it on Odysee, I have more freedom. But since I'm doing this on YouTube, then I don't have freedom. And yeah, and it's so uncomfortable to have to refer back to my childhood where I can't say anything. And this is exactly how I feel on YouTube. Well, guys, I don't feel that way on Twitter today. With the recent changes on Twitter, and some of you hate Elon Musk, don't really care what you think. The fact of the matter is, I went to Twitter and I don't feel like somebody's going to stop me from posting my videos about, you know, the bias and Google search and all that. I don't have to worry about that. No one is going to stop me on Twitter. And that alone is a feeling of like relief that I can actually say something and not have to worry about being censored. My goodness, do you know how uncomfortable that is, that where you can't even say even basic things? I am no zucking extremist. I am not an extremist, yet I feel this sense of, you know, somebody's going to go cut me off here on YouTube or on Google or something. And yeah, and if they do, then, you know, in theory, then I'm zucked. Fortunately, I have a good number of you on Odysee and a good number of you now on Rumble. My Rumble, I believe my Rumble subscriber count is almost 19,000 now on Rumble. So, but to be honest with you, the reach on Rumble or Odysee is not the same as the reach on YouTube. My second to the last video, but the video on phone tracking is trending in a big way on YouTube right now. It's trending big. It's going to be one of my top videos ever. It's trending big. Okay, I'm not going to be surprised that at some point it's going to get 1 million views. So, that could happen. So, which is really neat. But the problem is then it forces me to stay on YouTube because, you know, what other platform can offer me 1 million views? So you know, you're kind of in a rock and a hard place. I don't want to be on YouTube because it's censorship, but YouTube has the reach that I can't get anywhere else. I'm on Twitter. If you are not on Twitter, maybe you should think of going to Twitter and follow me there. I'm Rob Braxman Tech, at Rob Braxman Tech. And maybe I'll be more open and post over there. and currently I don't have much of a reach. I have 9,300 or so followers over there, but I don't know how many of those followers are active on Twitter. I'm going to guess majority of them are not, because I don't get any. I don't hardly get any views. So the impression shows that they're not actually seeing my stuff. So if you're not on Twitter, you may want to think about going on Twitter. And if you are on Twitter, please subscribe to me or follow me on as Rob Braxman Tech, because I've been actively posting things now, because I would enjoy being able to speak somewhere. And at the moment, Twitter is a good one now to be able to speak, and then it won't matter if I get de-amplified on YouTube. Then there'll be another way to spread the same video and the same discussion on Twitter. So anyway, that would be really neat if you follow me there. I'm feeling freer on Twitter. My problem with Odysee and Rumble is reach. I'm not sure I'm reaching. On Rumble, I get a big reach only if they share my video. So if Rumble puts me in the editor's picks, it does extremely well. I get tons of views, but otherwise, subscribers somehow don't actually actively seek out videos on Rumble. They're only looking at the editor's picks. So that kind of gives a problem with discovery on Rumble. So I don't really have a platform where many of you can access what I'm saying without any kind of censorship. And at the moment, that's only on Twitter. Now, some of you hate Elon Musk, and for different reasons. Some of you may think that because he makes electric cars, and you're not a big believer of climate change, that you're saying that this is all just liberal BS about climate change. Therefore, you're not going to like Elon Musk. I mean, some of you say that. Some of you say that to me. Some of you say that you don't like Elon Musk because, these electric cars are spying on you. Now, I've been tracking that. Now, I've never stated this to you, so I'm going to state it right now. So some of you will probably unfollow me for saying this. Okay, some of you will probably unfollow me for saying this. But I do have a Tesla. I've had a Tesla. Okay, I've had a Tesla. I have Starlink too. So I've had a Tesla for a while. Okay, and I've been watching what Tesla does. I'm specifically watching if the car is spying on me and doing things like that. And actually, I found that it's not. It's not doing that. Even when there's a camera on the car that records supposedly, it doesn't leave the car. In fact, the car has no internet connection most of the time. You're driving around. You're not connected to the internet. You have to pay for that service. Oh, look at the Sassy Doe. Sassy Doe is mad at me now for having a Tesla. Yeah, I mean, I'm a technology guy. I'm going to go try it out. And so, yeah, I tried that out. So, yeah, some of you are going to unfollow me now because I have a Tesla. So Sassy Doe is like very upset now that I have a Tesla. Anyway, in fact, I was at a parking lot in a restaurant, and one of you saw me with a Tesla. So you're probably going to go put that in the comments somewhere too. I saw him with a Tesla. Okay, so I didn't buy a Tesla because of any sort of climate kind of consciousness. I'll be frank with you, not at all. I did not do that. So normally my cars are most of my cars are Mercedes-Benzes. They've always been. I've always had a Mercedes-Benz. I still have a couple, and but then I bought a Tesla, and frankly, the Tesla is a better car. So as a car, it is superior. As a car, it is better. This has nothing to do with being electric, not electric. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, as a car, it's cheaper to run because I haven't done anything to it. It has gotten zero service. Not even a brake pad. The only thing I got to do to it is change tires, because I get holes and potholes all the time. But other than that, no problem. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is that on Twitter, a lot of people are like saying, I'm going to dump my Tesla, because a lot of people buy Tesla for political reasons. A lot of people say, it's kind of like a virtue signaling on climate change to have a Tesla, apparently. And I'm in California, so a lot of people have Teslas here. So it's not all that unusual. You go on the freeway going to San Francisco and there's a bunch of Teslas. Okay, so, no virtue signaling for me. I just like the car. I really do. It's just been a positive experience for me. So, given that, on Twitter, some people are saying, I'm going to dump my Tesla now because now it's like a MAGA hat. The Tesla is a MAGA hat. Because if you're seen in a Tesla, look at those people. They're so embarrassed to be in their Tesla because it's like they're wearing a MAGA hat. That's like, suck. The stupidity of some of these people. The stupidity of them all. Okay? Supposedly, if I'm driving a Tesla, I have a MAGA hat. And but before, it was a sign of, you must be far left if you're driving a Tesla. Like Elisa Milano said, I'm going to dump, I dumped my Tesla. So all of these left-wing actors and actresses were all driving Teslas. And now I got my Volkswagen Golf now. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. So anyway, this is to me hilarious because some people are saying, I'm going to dump my Tesla because I hate Elon Musk. Except there's two sides of the coin. There's some of you now that never thought about a Tesla. And then you're going to say, Elon Musk thinks along my lines here. So I'm going to like him now. Because it's not all about being lefty to be buying a Tesla. It's like, oh gosh, it's like this insertion of politics in every move in our lives. It's just, it's just too much for me. It's just... Everything is judged according to politics, and it's very irritating. It irritates me to no end. So everything. So the press, the mainstream media, decide that they're going to control the story. They're going to control the narrative. They're not going to let you speak out, and they can hide the topic by not talking about it. So these Twitter files and what Elon Musk is doing, we're going to hide that. So we're not going to talk about it on mainstream media. You're not going to hear it on the news. You're not going to hear it on CBS and so on, ABC and NBC. You're not going to hear that because it's a non-story. Well, I'm telling you as a person who's watched Twitter for a while. I mean, I've been on Twitter for a while, and I hated Twitter. It was... the censorship was so blatant, left and right, by the way. There was just a lot of censorship, but there obviously more on the right, and it was just a hateful experience when every move you make, and and I'm no extremist, to have to worry about what I'm saying as a non-extremist, it really bugs me. I'm not giving any extreme opinions, and yet. I'm afraid. Why do I have to be afraid? Why do I have to be afraid, folks? I do not need to be afraid. So, I'm not afraid to tell you that, I gave Elon money twice. I gave money for Tesla. I gave money for Starlink. And I'm going to tell you something else, folks. As mad as you might think, you've be mad at me again. But I'll probably... buy another Tesla. When I get rid of this Tesla, I'm going to buy another Tesla. In fact, I'm likely going to stay with Tesla. It's the better car. So am I going to install his chip? Hell no. It's a different problem. I think that chip is zucked up. So I'm not stupid. Okay? Some of you are just so, everything is about politics. I'm not like that. I just take everything at face value for what it is. Is SpaceX good or bad? Is Starlink good or bad? You decide for yourself. It has nothing to do with politics. So anyway, I'm out of time. So let me just do a quick break here on the to break the segment. Then we're going to Q&A, and then you can keep asking me these questions. So here we go. So to start the next segment, first we have the sponsor break, and my sponsor is Linode. So if you go to Linode, let's say you need a Linode server, they're going to give you a $100 credit if you put linode.com/Rob Braxman. I think you can do that in lowercase. And they're going to give you a $100 credit, which you can use within 2 months to apply to any Linode service. In fact, I had, I run many of my services to you on Linode. And I recently had a problem that I had to get a solution to. And of course, I get answers on Linode. It's so easy to get an answer. And I always get intelligent answers. So they have really good staff. And, why is it that 80% of my servers, maybe even 90% are on Linode, yet my expenses are 50-50 between Linode and AWS? Why is that? Which means AWS is charging me at least, what is that? What's the proportion there? 500% more? Something like that? So, so if you want a better deal, Linode is the better deal. So thank you, my friends, and let me continue. Oops. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing here. Let's continue with our topic here. So, okay, so what other complaints? Anybody complaining here about me having a Tesla? Any more complaints about me having a Tesla? Yeah, you don't complain if what's his guy's name? The solar power guy, Prowse, Will Prowse. Will Prowse has tons of Teslas in his backyard. What about Marquez Brownlee with his Teslas? They all have Teslas. Where should I go now? I just bought my first iPhone 7 months ago. Now I can't support Apple with the thing they're doing in China. Don't panic, Andy. Don't panic. Just make your choice sensibly. You can always sell a phone. Don't make any quick moves. But maybe you should start thinking about some other options, and you can, think. You don't have to go crazy all of a sudden. Think it through. Will sells them too. He sells Teslas. Will Prowse sells Teslas. Will Prowse, by the way, is a great channel on solar power. He has, solar batteries and all that. He's a great resource for that. And he has a very big channel now with, close to 800,000 subscribers. And he's like powering his Teslas with solar power. So, do you sell antivirus for PC? You do not need any sucking antivirus. Please, Al, forget that. Save your money. Get a VPN, not an antivirus. You need a VPN, not an antivirus. Okay? So, Tesla, the ready-made car bomb. Okay. Interesting. I don't feel like I'm driving a spy device. If you're driving Waymo, that's online. Waymo is real-time connected, by the way. So if you're in a Waymo car, so in San Francisco and even in Santa Monica here near me, they have Waymo cars now from Google. Now those are connected in real time to Google, in real time. So that's true spyware right there, live. The Tesla is made to work independently. Actually, the cameras interpret everything locally at the local computer. So it doesn't send that data like a surveillance device to Tesla that I've seen. So far, actually, I run the Tesla app on my Google phone, so it even runs on my Google phone. Mostly runs. It doesn't have the Maps feature, but it mostly runs on my Google phone, and yeah, no particular issues with that. So clearly Elon is not in the spy business. Elon is not in the spy business. At least that's what's apparent to me. He's not focusing on that at all, and he's making the car sense the environment with AI on its own, independently at the car level, not connecting to HQ, unless you're in the beta program where they have a button to report to HQ. Hard pass on Tesla for now. You can do whatever you want, Robo79. I'm just telling you what I did. I'm not telling you to buy Tesla. Are you tracked by satellite in your Tesla? No. In fact, if you don't know this, the car does not actually come with internet. Doesn't even come with internet. So you have to, when you're at home, you connect it to your internet. So on the road, by default, it doesn't even have what they call premium connectivity. You actually have to pay for it. But the service is actually pretty bad. So, you may not want to pay for it. In which case, then the car doesn't even have an internet connection. So the car has an internet connection necessary only when you're home, so that it can get an update. Buying Tesla is hurting the environment. Brax, all the acid from batteries will pollute the soil. All the acid from batteries will pollute the soil. That's kind of the reverse. It's lead acid has the acid. a lithium battery does not have acid. So even if you take the bus, they will track you with the card you tap in with and facial recognition. He makes most of his money from carbon credits. Selling carbon credits is a good business. Oh, you're talking about Elon? I don't really care what he does. I don't really care what he does. You have to make a decision for yourself. And in my case, the car is really a good car. Even when you I took a road trip to go visit like Zuckbook and Google and Intel and all those places in Silicon Valley, and so I get to charge on the Tesla supercharger stuff, and it was kind of you charge for 10 minutes and you're good to go. So 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and you get a very fast charge, and it was actually pretty practical, and it didn't really seem like a pain to me, and I traveled pretty far from LA to San Francisco and back. So yeah. So yeah, look some of the comments on batteries. Well, Elon doesn't censor, so isn't that the positive now? Many of you will now like Elon because he's on your side politically. Some of you. It's very funny how people make those kind of decisions. I don't do that kind of thing. Okay, I don't do that. I look at the product and see if it's spying on me or not spying on me, and I make my decision on that. And it's not spying on me. From what I can see, it is not spying on me, so I'm comfortable with it. So, AC lives in San Jose. So yeah, do you have a Tesla AC? So, Trump is against electric cars. Yeah, but Musk is now Tesla is now a MAGA symbol according to the left. So it's now a MAGA symbol to drive a Tesla. Kind of late for that though, but okay, whatever. Some of you still don't like Musk, but you know what? I don't really care what you're saying there, because the fact of the matter is, I felt really censored on Twitter before. I really felt, in fact, I feel censored on every platform. I feel censored on every platform. So and the only one that where I don't feel censored on is Twitter at the moment, and of all the big platforms, and that really makes me comfortable. OpenAI Chat GPT. Now, I mentioned that in my last video, and if you want to see what an AI can do, yeah, go try that. It gives you an idea of where AI is coming from, and you got AI that can do poetry. There's AI. If you have if you play music and you have the app called Band in the Box, it can do a jazz solo, and the jazz solo is actually pretty good. It sounds pretty authentic. It sounds like an authentic solo, and it's made by a machine. So, yeah. So anyway, I feel better being on Twitter and being able to speak than I ever was. If you look at my list of followers and people I follow, and you will see that I have quite a mix of people, because some of them are on the left, some of them are on the right. Privacy is privacy. It has nothing to do with politics. I got good friends on the left and good friends on the right. So I don't, I'm fairly apolitical. I'm fairly moderate. I'm, middle of the road. And so if anything, I do not like extremists on both sides. So that's, if anything, I will likely not like an extremist on either side. Still, I would let you speak. I would let you speak. Unless you're attacking me, I'll let you speak. So even if I disagree with you, I'll let you speak. But in a situation where I want to be able to speak, I don't want to have to worry that, like when I was young, that somebody's gonna report me to the government and I'm gonna go to jail. My teachers disappeared. My teachers disappeared when I was young, because they said some anti-government things, and they were reported, and fortunately I found out that many of them actually disappeared on their own, meaning they had the sense that they were going to get arrested, and they left town and lived in the jungles. And some of those kinds of people I actually managed to talk to recently, last few years. They would be older than me, because they were teachers back then, and I was just a student. And they told me how they lost 20 years of their lives because they had to go hide in the jungles. So I don't want that environment. So some of these people who are like completely tied to the politics of it all are willing to silence anyone and everyone. They're willing to silence everyone because they want their point of view to be the only point of view. And I don't feel that way. I respect that people may have a slightly different opinion than me. That's fine. I may not agree with you, but I respect that. And I respect you for having a different opinion. But some of you will not respect me. I know already, because this guy has a Tesla. I'm going to go dump this channel because I'm so right wing or whatever. Except that now the Tesla is a MAGA symbol now. So yeah, don't unsubscribe because you're on the right, because the Tesla is a MAGA symbol now. So times change. We can't afford all these millions of electric cars. The power grid will melt. Yeah, I don't need to concern myself with that. I look at the product. The product works for me. It works well for me. I'm very pleased with it, and the fact that I don't have to service it. As I told you, normally I drive a Mercedes-Benz, and the reality is, from my personal experience, is I go to a Mercedes-Benz dealership and I go for an annual tune-up, and they charge me $2,000, $2,000 to do whatever, change oil and rotate the tires and do simple stuff like that. And they're charging me $2,000. What did I have to do to my car now? A Tesla? Nothing. Not even a brake pad. You don't use the brakes. Not even a brake pad. Did I spend money in gas? No. So yeah. So because of that, I'm like, yeah. If I'm gonna say, I still have a Mercedes-Benz, and I have a Tesla. I compared it to, and the other one is much more expensive to run. Much more expensive to run. Robo says, 2K, what the zuck? Yep. That's what they charge, 2K. What did I do for Tesla? Well, tires. This is Los Angeles. It's always, you hit nails, you hit potholes, and then you lose a tire. That's actually the most major expense on the car is the tires. Other than that, nothing. Nothing. New tires yet? Yeah, they always are new tires because there are hardly any miles on them, and I have to keep putting new tires on any car, not necessarily a Tesla, but any car. We don't service it now, Brox, and until the battery, wait till the battery catches fire. Okay, well, you know what? Danks. I put lithium batteries on my boat. I'm actually like Will Prowse. Okay, would you trust Will Prowse? He's a solar power expert. He understands the chemistry of lithium iron phosphate batteries, and they're very safe. They're very safe. So yeah, how much are 4 tires? Not as expensive as Mercedes tires. Those are really expensive. So if Tesla went right, did the big 3 go left? As far as I'm concerned, nothing changed. Some of you just have a perception. I can see you working with Elon to make a new phone. I already have a phone, and Elon is not making a phone. So you don't need to have a phone. Say it's a Tesla phone. You just need a phone. I already have one. I already make one. Get a Brax2 phone. They have red Teslas. I've seen a few. Yes, they have red Teslas. Toyota has invested heavily in hydrogen fuel cells. Yeah, Bill Gates supposedly built a boat that depends on hydrogen fuel cells. Let's see how that works. Where the hell do you get hydrogen recharge? Yeah. So, all myths behind electric vehicles. There's a lot of misinformation about them. Don't really need to care. I have practical experience, and I can tell myself that it's the better car for what I use it for, and it's the better car. It's the least cost in maintenance. There's nothing to do. The inside of a Tesla is very stark. There's not a lot of parts there. And because of that, hardly anything ever breaks because there's nothing to break. It doesn't have any, carburetors and whatever. It doesn't even have a transmission. It's direct drive motor. There's no parts. There's hardly any moving parts on it. So yeah, most of the expense is in the battery. I mean, there's hardly any moving parts. You got the motor direct drive to each wheel, My Tesla has dual motors, and yeah. So this is a Tesla commercial. Maybe Elon will pay me then. Okay, that's a good thing. Anyway, yeah, so Sassy Doe, are you pro sponsor pro censorship on Twitter? Is that what you wanted? Did you want Twitter to be run by Gade and those guys who wanted to censor? Is that what you wanted? I mean, you got to make your own choices there. So, Teslas are Facebook on wheels. Well, I don't know where you get that, but it's a guy who watches the car and sees what it does. I'm satisfied that it's not spying on me. Okay, so I'm satisfied it's not that kind of device. The Waymo is the problem. So some of these other companies are saying, oh, we're going to put self-driving Waymo units on there. And yeah, you worry about those. You worry about those. FB on wheels. My choice is God. Yeah, but you're not making a choice. Is your choice to have Twitter be run by the old Twitter 1.0, or do you want Elon to run it with Twitter 2.0? Well, regardless of what you feel, I feel like I feel safer. I feel able to speak with Twitter 2.0, and I'm no zucking extremist. I'm not even political. So I bet Elon vehicles. You should try and get him an interview. Why would he even pay attention to me? I'm nobody. Twitter employees were reading messages. Of course they can read the messages. What do you think is a DM? Is there any special encryption with DM? No. This is why I do not communicate with people on DM. If you're going to DM, might as well make it public. Can you tinker with the software of a Tesla car? I haven't tried to hack it, no. Okay, so anyway, Brother Norb, this is, what is your question? I will certainly ask your question if you want to ask a question. Don't tell me not to answer people, because that's the whole point, is this second portion is a Q&A section. What's your current provider? I'm Igarashi. Sorry, I didn't look over there. On Rumble. I'm on Spectrum and Starlink. But I do not use Starlink for live streams. Starlink has a very unreliable uplink speed. It's pretty good at download, unreliable upload. The upload is very slow. So it's probably good for consumption of video, but it's not good for uploading live streams. So for that reason, Starlink is really not a end all. It's not a complete solution. So anyway, I mean, I don't know why some of you are so focused on Tesla when we were focused on Twitter. So the question is really about Twitter. Is that what do you want? What do you want to have happened? Did you want Twitter to have been the same as before? And I know some of you, especially those so happy with the censorship on Twitter on the left, they were so happy. One of the things that was very funny on Twitter, I mean, there was this one comment from one of my followers. And somebody I follow as well, somebody from Periscope, said, why is it, she said, that there's so much hate for the president? Nasty comments, nasty statements about the president. It is just not right. Okay. I don't know, guys. Uh, I'm sorry, but this person has obviously been living under a rock. Why do you think that there's nasty comments about the president? Which president? Okay, this person was referring to today's president. But if you were on Twitter over the years and you've been watching the comments on, the last president, then you will see how nasty the comments were to the last president. And it's like, tit for tat is what's the strategy here. You do this, we'll do it to you. But suddenly everything changes. How about this? Another kind of comment on Twitter is there's so much hate. There's so much hate on Twitter. You should see the people who are saying that. The people saying they're getting the hate, they don't even realize what they're saying, because if you watch what they're saying to others, they're spouting so much hate themselves. And it's incredible. It's incredible that, the blindness of people. It's like, it's only hate when it's done to me. It's not hate when I do it to you, because you're a MAGA. You're evil. You're MAGA. You're whatever. You're not human. MAGAs are not human, or something like that. And I don't have to justify myself, because MAGAs are evil extremists. That all MAGAs are deniers of the pandemic. Can't even say the word here. But it's supposedly completely false, by the way. That MAGA people, according to this person, or many people, say that MAGA people supposedly are saying that. Oh, Ted Lieu said this. I think Ted Lieu is my representative over here. And he said, the difference between us on the left and on the right, we believe that, the C-19 thing exists, and you on the right think it's a hoax. I mean, what a stupid zuck. It's to actually say that all of us think that if you're either on one side saying it's real or it's a hoax, and if you're on one side, then you think it's a hoax. There's no in between. When Jay Bhattacharya said we don't believe lockdowns work, he can't even say that. It has nothing to do with hoax or not hoax. It was about the approach. When I was talking about privacy issues with how to handle the vaccination passports and things like that, I was talking about the privacy side. Oh, but I can't talk about that, because that means I should be banned, because I'm speaking negatively, and I'm going to cause deaths. Because Rob is making all kinds of friends. Yeah, I'm wondering how many people. So I'm going to see all the people who unsubscribe from me, from the people on the right, because I have a Tesla, and then people on the left because I'm talking about Twitter. Yeah, right. So, yeah, at least it'll be even. Maybe I'll get double the unsubscribes. Well, some of you think it's a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax. That's not really the point. Yeah, some of you think it's a hoax, but I got COVID, so what? Oh, how can it be a hoax when I got it? Got it twice. I got it twice, but I was told that if I do a certain thing, that I can't be spreading it. If I get a jab according to the rules, then I can't possibly spread it. Therefore, everybody has to get a jab, because it's necessary so that you don't spread it. Yet everyone was spreading it because the information was false. But you can't talk about that. You cannot talk about that. Oh my gosh. That would wipe me off from a platform to even suggest that. So yeah, I would be wiped out from all the platforms to even suggest to you that there are that perhaps what they're saying is not correct, because things like this is one of the most things that I just hated the most. Hated this comment the most. And it was, and some people were just so tied to the politics that would say this, and they said, what was I saying? God, I forgot. It'll come back to me. I was trying to think. Was it about the no, it wasn't about not getting vax will cause death. No, what did I forgot? I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry about that. It'll come back to me. So anyway, you cannot know what you had was COVID-19. Well, so yeah, you must be one of those people who think it's a hoax. Well, I do not think it's a hoax. However, to call it science when... Oh, I remember now what I was talking about. So the most common comment was about science. It's like, follow the science. Oh my gosh, it's the biggest fake news I've ever heard. Follow the science. Yet, they didn't follow the science. The science said it didn't work, but they still kept to the same statement, even though the science was wrong. Okay, the science could have made an impact on how we lived with this, instead of all the shutdowns and shutting down businesses over here. I felt so bad for businesses that were shut down for no reason here. Here in California, for example, so many small businesses, mostly small restaurants, shut down. Bars and restaurants shut down. So many shut down. Being a very liberal area here, 70% liberal here, 70-30 ratio here in Los Angeles. They didn't care that these businesses shut down, except the business was shut down without any science, because there was nothing proving that these businesses caused anything. In fact, they shut down certain businesses without any data showing that the spread of infections had to do with anything these businesses did. And it's happening again. This time of year, what happens this time of year, folks? It's the holidays. What happens this time of year? Families zucking gather. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, families gather. What happens when families gather? You know, people with sickness will spread it in your family because you're close to them. You are in close contact. Here you are in a restaurant with people so far away, and they actually shut down these restaurants, saying that they're spreading the disease when there was no evidence in all that time that anything changed in the restaurant. So why should you shut down a restaurant? I felt really bad about these restaurants. This is where there was no science to it. To me, it was just pure authoritarianism. There was no science to it. That's an example of what I said. I couldn't even talk about that. And likely this will cause me to get demonetized here on YouTube again for this. So I'm not only going to lose subscribers, I'm probably going to get demonetized as well. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, if you believe it's from science, then the science should speak for itself. But don't fake us. Don't fake us calling certain things science and certain things based on science when it's not. Many of these decisions had nothing to do with science. They were arbitrary decisions. What does checking your ID do to science? What does checking your ID have to do with anything? So, anyway, very, very disturbing to me that, you know, I have to live in an environment where I can't even speak about certain things. And I'm not, you know, I'm not in the camp of a hoax or anything like that. Some of you are. I am not. But if you're going to call it science, then at least make sure that you're actually telling the truth and not lying about it. So, yeah. So, how about this? They say, well, if you get jabbed, then, you're going to be protecting people because you can't spread the disease. And they said that for so long. Okay, they said that for so long, and we already know. And I told you I got infected twice. Okay, so how does that protect me if I got infected twice? How are you saying you got to go? You can't enter a building unless you're vaxxed, because if you're not vaxxed, you're going to spread the disease. Well, everybody was spreading it with or without a jab. I don't get that. Where's the science in that? There was no science. There was no science. It was just whatever the story, whatever story they want to say. It was not based on any kind of science. So, yeah, now some of you are, getting a little out there with some of what you're saying, and I'm not in that category. So, but, I believe that you have a right to you have a right to your beliefs. I'm not going to go counter you. And some of you don't like me for it, so you'll unsubscribe. But, I believe you have a right to be able to speak. That's the important thing with this discussion. I want you to be able to speak. Okay? I want you to be able to speak. So, La Petite Phantom. There's so much information on both sides. There is Robo79. There is. Oh, no, that's not Rob6079. See, I can't even read that. It's very tiny. So, yeah. But one thing that Twitter does now that is really, really awesome is now you have community notes. So this is the way to censor. Let's say somebody like, the conspiracy theorist guy. We will not mention his name because that will cause me to get banned here. But you know what I'm talking about. The guy that starts with an AJ. Okay. So AJ would say something, and many of what he says will be truly, conspiracy theory stuff. I mean, it's he doesn't even have proof of anything, and he'll go, make a statement. Some of what he says is okay. Some of them are completely completely out of this world. But now, instead of cutting him out of a platform, you can actually do community notes, meaning you actually, this is something I've always suggested, let the community judge. So if you disagree with what somebody says, the community can actually vote to put a comment on it, which they have, even on Elon Musk himself. They put a comment on it correcting what somebody says. So some people didn't understand that a post was parody, for example, or sarcasm, and then some people were able to post a community note saying, yep, this is a parody, so don't overreact, or some fake video of some politician like Trump, and saying something that's not really real, and people misunderstand that and they consider misinformation. But there's community notes now. Let the community decide. Let the community do the filtering. Let the community do the censoring by vote, without causing the item to disappear. It just, with the proper background, you can push a comment in the background and say, well, this is not real. Well, that to me is the better way than having one person make the judgment and say, I'm the judge. I'm going to say that's misinformation or disinformation or fake news. I'll be frank with you, the fake news is on both sides. Extremely large numbers on both sides. Take the extremists on both sides. I mean, just take California Congressman Adam Schiff. No, not Adam Schiff. What is his name? Is it Schiff? See, I can't even remember. Is it Schiff? I mean, the guy is he's just full of fake news every day. I mean, he'll just lie all day. He'll just lie all day. So and then on the right side, you got your usual extremists in there as well. So they'll just say anything. And yeah, so the only one that I may semi-pay attention to is if you're near the middle. If you're near the middle, I might semi-pay attention to you. Otherwise, no. Hey, Samira, how are you doing, my friend? Adam Schiff, yes. Yeah, he's an example of... he just blatantly lies. He blatantly lies, and it's okay. It's okay. He doesn't get banned. He can say anything, and he doesn't have to prove it. And he will make any claim about anybody. It's going to stick, and then a group of people will repeat what he just said. Same thing on the right, by the way. It's not any different. AJ will say something, and his followers will repeat the same story, and will keep saying that without any kind of proof or anything to justify that. So it happens on both sides. You got extremists on both sides, but it's really irritating to listen to this. Really, really irritating to see people lie and nobody corrects it, especially if it's one-sided. You correct only one side. You don't correct somebody who's obviously lying. So, yeah. So, anyway, it's yeah, again, just to kind of give you a sense of balance of where I am. I'm more middle of the road. I'm more middle of the road. So I don't follow any of these extremes. And when I see extremes on both sides, and why do I need to feel like they're telling the truth, but I'm not able to speak. They can speak, and they're never going to fear getting cut out, and I had to feel like I couldn't say anything. So, again, to repeat, I do not feel this sense of pressure now that I can't say anything when I'm on Twitter 2.0. I really don't feel that. I feel like I can actually speak on Twitter 2.0. So, it's a reality that I feel that, and if I feel that, then if I feel good about it, I'm gonna want to be there. So yes, I'm gonna be more active on Twitter. So if you're not on Twitter, consider going to Twitter. If you're on Twitter not following me, you could follow me at Rob Braxman Tech. So, by the way, Twitter doesn't really. You can take just a few precautions that will just keep you safe on Twitter. Twitter, you don't have to say anything. You don't even have to tell them who you really are. You're giving it a user ID, and which you choose, and you're giving it an email address. Just don't use an email address with your real name on it. Done deal. That's it. My 2FA for Twitter is Google Voice, FYI. So yeah, you'll follow me on Twitter. Thank you, KZ. Thank you. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, and let's all talk on Twitter some more, because I'm there all the time now, and I'm more active there than I ever was. So my time in social media actually started on Periscope. Periscope was owned by Twitter, and so I've been on Twitter since 2013 from my records over there, and I believe I started Periscope in 2014. So, truth and shadow ban was a myth. What was a myth? Shadow banning on Twitter is a myth? I hope that's not what you're saying. Because clearly they were shadow banning. By the way, I was aware of shadow banning even before, because some of you came to me and had me look at your account. And clearly you were shadow banned because I couldn't see some of the stuff. So, yeah, some of you actually went to me and Braxme, said, I think I'm shadow banned on Twitter, and then I can of course prove it. by they gave me their user ID and see what I can see, and I can't see anything unless you specifically go to their account and look at stuff. So you see, I'm not a extremist in my opinions about things, but I'm an extremist in privacy because I feel like this is a topic that fits anyone on either side. You've been shadow banned for like forever, Samira. Samira's been shadow banned. On which one? On which platform? But you can actually prove your shadow ban. You can actually check that. So, Big Brother is hiding. He's hiding some of us. I love my YubiKey for Twitter. YubiKey actually works for Twitter. Yeah, YubiKey works for Twitter. That's one way to use Twitter without any phone number. Is YubiKey. So I don't have to do that because I have Google Voice. Don't hold your breath for any. Thanks for talking about this, Ricky Rick Rack. You think you're not going to unsubscribe from me because I'm expecting 51 unsubscribes because of my subject matter. How do you prevent Google from tracking your Google Voice logins? I have browser isolation. So what they know about me from Google is my YouTube channel, and there is no other activity on my browser. It's called browser isolation. So, and then I use that with Google Voice, which I then use with Twitter, but Twitter is not going to share with Google. Google's not going to share with Twitter. It's fine. I only use it for login. It's only used for 2FA. So no data. TikTok. I haven't, I don't use TikTok, so I hear all these comments about what supposedly TikTok is doing and all the data that's supposedly being taken, but I don't use TikTok. So what is this data that TikTok does? I mean, it's like saying Twitter can capture your data. What actually can Twitter capture? Because you make your own posts and you don't really give an identity beyond what you give. You're not required to give much to Twitter, just your own username and an email and maybe a 2FA, which they sold, so that was pretty bad. But since I'm using Google Voice, it could sell all day. Okay? So there's nothing, they got nothing out of value from me. But that's the end of it. Now, that's different from Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook links to every click on the internet. I don't know how you can compare that to TikTok. I mean, I'm sure TikTok has some evil stuff in there. But what exactly, how can it turn as bad as Google or Facebook? How? I don't understand this. TikTok is not part of the Google Analytics and phone tracking and all that. So there's kind of a limit to what they can get from you. Okay? There's kind of a limit. So, TikTok is not Facebook. Facebook has, every Facebook like button everywhere and every website is tracking you. Every Google Analytics, every site that has Google Analytics is tracking you. Your Google ID. What good is a TikTok ID necessarily? I'm not sure what it's going to steal. That you liked some dancing women, some girls dancing on TikTok? Not sure. I'm not clear on the actual, depth of the spying that can be done on TikTok. I'm not clear on that. So I'm not saying anything about TikTok because I can't understand. It's like, I'll give you an example that might be equivalent to a TikTok. Xbox. So you go use your Xbox all day. Yeah, but you're playing a game. You're not passing personal information on the game. You're just playing the game. So you're playing Halo. How is that stealing your personal information? Not sure. There, it's pretty obvious. It does not. Even McAfee will agree with me that there's nothing really dangerous about a video game. What personal information are you actually passing on TikTok? There's something I don't understand here. Is there some personal information you're passing on TikTok? I don't have TikTok, so I can't say anything. Given that I don't have TikTok, I can't make any claims, but I'm just not understanding where the risk is in comparison to Google, Facebook, Apple even. Not certain. So, I mean, you got to analyze it properly in terms of the risk of cross-device tracking, phone tracking, tracking your whereabouts, tracking you. I mean, yeah, TikTok could track your IP address. Okay. Use a VPN. Okay. Let's say use TikTok with a VPN. Is there anything else that you got to worry about? Did they ask you for an ID? Did you have to show them an ID and then get a copy of your driver's license and post it on TikTok? Well, that would be quite evil. Did they do that though? Again, I have no love for any TikTok here. I don't have it. I wouldn't ever suggest, I would never suggest to anyone with kids to have TikTok for, other reasons of social media. But I'm not, I see TikTok videos on YouTube. Okay. Cosmic Rose says, I prefer the male dancers myself. Yeah, but it's the young girls that like to do these TikTok dances, apparently. According to my nieces, that they're the experts in TikTok. Say, oh yeah, we have all these dances. That's how you get people to watch you on TikTok. Do dynamic IPs work the same as a VPN? Yeah, to some degree, but whoever controls a dynamic IP can, of course, watch your traffic. So it depends. Verizon just bounced my home service. I don't know what that means. There's a strict measure on TikTok regarding ID to join. Okay, then I need to understand what that means. If you tell me that TikTok requires you to identify yourself, then that's kind of dangerous, yes. But I don't know. What is involved with that. Yeah, that would be bad. If you have to, do the kind of verification that would have to reveal your real identity, that's a serious problem. For example, on Twitter, you don't have to do that. TikTok is bad for society, but it's, I hate emojis, so you're gonna have to tell me what that means. I'm an emoji hater. Yeah, everybody knows I'm an emoji hater. So I look at an emoji and I don't know what you're trying to tell me. And some people trying to talk to me with emojis and I was like, I don't get it. Okay? Even Elon Musk always post these emojis and I'm like saying, what the zuck does that mean? He'll post a picture of a rabbit. And what is that supposed to mean? I guess he means follow the rabbit hole. Is that what that means? But it's not clear to me. If you didn't state it, then I don't know. Upside down, okay. I mean, how can I tell? I mean, that's like a microscopic little emoji to me, and I'm supposed to know that's upside down. Okay, got it. I'm not an emoji fan. It is very small. It is very tiny. I'm looking at emojis, and I'm very far away from the screen. And I'm supposed to interpret, what little, face expression it is. And sometimes I can't tell, especially from a distance. I still don't understand, like, what does that mean with the, You're, see, I don't even know what to call it. The face with the tongue sticking out. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know why the emoji face is crying. I don't understand what that means either. Don't get it. Sorry. I'm just not an emoji kind of person. I don't like words. Just got a notification saying no voice services temporarily turned off. My care. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. AC, I have no idea. I don't have that. You should talk to your carrier. Have you heard of Casa OS, self-hosted home server software? If pure open source, could I be concerned? I don't know what that is though. Can't make a statement about something I don't know. Now Braxme is open source. So the Braxme platform is open source. Yeah, somebody audited Braxme and told me all the flaws in Braxme, which I fixed since I wrote Braxme quite a while ago. And things change, and and people will find issues with it, and then that's the good thing about open source. You find a flaw, we correct it. So yeah, so we fix a lot of stuff that somebody recently found another flaw which was fixed as well. So that's pretty good. Should I be embarrassed that Braxme has flaws? No, that's the thing about open source is I don't have time to go tinker with it all the time. So it's been running fine. Nobody's been hacked. Nobody broke into the data. Nobody stolen anything. After all this time that Braxton has been running since 2014, been no issues of that sort. We have 80,000 people on it, 80,000 plus people on it. No issues of any sort. So yeah, open source. So no secrets there. Now Brax 2 phone is also open source. So there's your Brax 2 phone with a case from Cowboy. Even gives you this little stand here. Kind of cool. How does that work? There. Little stand. So he makes a case for this. So this is my Brax 2. This is my Brax 2 phone. Open source. Kind of cool too. So here, when it's open source and you have a lot of element of trust. Now, open source means somebody can find potentially some flaw in it, and it's not something to be embarrassed about. If somebody can find a flaw, we will we'll go fix it. So yeah, it's a great phone. I mean, I've been using this phone, and especially with this nice case on it, just not had any problems with this. So and this has the latest update on it with some of the early bugs fixed already. So this does not. There's no issues outstanding that I'm aware of at the moment. So it's good. I didn't get that case. My screen is super cracked. We offer you a screen replacement. You just pay a screen repair, and I replace the phone. I do an exchange. We don't actually fix it. We just replace. Yeah, you can buy this worldwide. Yes. There's no Tesla phone. Okay, I have 1 minute, so I'm out of time. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. And of course, this is like the week before Christmas. I will be able to broadcast next week before Christmas. I'll be able to broadcast with a video and a live stream. So expect me back here next Wednesday with a new video, and the next Thursday with a live stream. So I'll see you then, guys. And thank you very much for watching. And then whoever wants to unsubscribe or because you're too political, that's okay. Do so. Okay. Good night, my friends. Hope you had fun. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm not over yet on, we're not yet done on